It is Tuesday night. Just got back from dinner. Busy day. So much going on with the property. But I wanted to get into what's happening with the U.S. economy. And we had a viewer write a comment this evening talking about this article that I saw tonight also. Nearly 50% of adults are now ordering kids' meals. So is it an economical problem with people, or do they just want something that's less filling? And me personally, we've never heard of stories like this before, and I think it's an economical problem with people that they're cutting back. Maybe some people are cutting back; they don't want to be as filled. But when was the last time you heard about Americans not wanting to eat? So I think that this is another indicator that we may have some economic problems and that people are broke. And this isn't just at McDonald's. This is multiple restaurants. In this article, it's coming from MarketWatch. Aaron.
Yeah, when you were telling me about this, I was thinking that, it could be possibly that people just don't want to eat as much. But my thing is, if it is because of the economy, why are they going out to eat in the first place? Because I don't even know what a crappy meal costs these days, but they're probably what, $10 these days? I have no idea. I mean, $10 will buy a decent
a Happy
amount.
Meal, I guess, or so. I don't know. I've never had a Happy Meal, but even go to McDonald's now, I guess, is $15 or $20. I haven't eaten at a McDonald's in many years, but I don't know. What do you think, Enrique?
Well, I know that people have been doing that years ago, because I have heard of people that I've known personally that have gotten children's meals. Sometimes it's people that are just very frugal. You run into them all the time. I've ran into them, in my lifetime. Just real frugal people. They are willing to do this.
But we're talking now 50% of adults. We've never heard of anything like this before.
That's way more.
So that sticks out. Also, John Deere announces hundreds of layoffs, sales down, net revenue down 26%. What say you?
Yeah, that's definitely, I would say, this whole John Deere situation. It's also tied to the fact that a lot of people just do not have the money to be able to fund their services and their products. So that's just another example of the liquidity. There's less liquidity out in the market right now.
Not a good sign for the farming community, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I was going to say, from what I've been hearing, a lot of farmers are selling off their property. They can't make it anymore. So, if you sell your farm, you don't need that. A lot of it's probably being used, developed for housing, neighborhoods, stuff like that.
We've lost a lot of farms for sure, and tariffs. I'm sure tariffs are playing a role with this. Redfin, homes are selling at the slowest pace, summer pace in a decade. So this is the slowest home sales for a summer in a decade. This is not also a good sign either. Typical home that went under contract in July sat on the market 43 days on average. This is the longest July span since 2015. So what is this telling us, Aaron, about what's happening in the real estate market, which people told us for years it would never happen. It's never going to slow down. We'll never see a correction or a collapse. Yet we are seeing record slow sales and also a record amount of homes falling out of escrow.
Well, I think what's going on there, I think there's a lot. I don't think it's just one or two things. I think, one, the interest rates. You've got people that finance their house at 3-4%, and if they do want to move, they don't want to take on a 6-7-8% mortgage when they've got a 3% mortgage. You've got the pricing of houses. Yes, certain areas have come down 20-30%, but that's still not enough when your interest rates are where they're at. So I think there's just a lot of stalemates with people. They want to move possibly, but they can't find a qualified buyer, because that's the other thing. We're losing jobs all over the place, so people can't afford to buy a house. But then also, I think, and I could be wrong on this, I think inflation keeps going up so fast that, we're thinking, oh, real estate's going to take a huge crash. Well, if the cost of lumber and steel and copper and all these
lumber's come down.
Yeah, if all these things are going up because of inflation, I don't know that the price of these houses are really going to come down until something major breaks. But
And what do you think, Enrique? By the way, pending sales hit a 2-year low.
Yeah.
58,000 home purchase agreements were canceled in July. That's 15.3%. That's the highest July since 2017.
Yeah.
Not a good sign for real estate. Where are we going with real estate? Is it going to improve? Are we going to see a crash? To me, the market is completely frozen. Aaron said qualified buyers are shrinking. That they've been shrinking for years. It's getting worse. The layoffs are definitely taking effect. 7-8% mortgage rates. Yeah, but those are normal rates. What's not normal is the increase in home prices in the last 4 or 5 years. Is this going to get better? What are we going to see?
Well, I really have to agree with Aaron here that right now the pool of qualified buyers is shrinking dramatically. It's very difficult to be able to find a good qualified buyer, especially someone who can truly afford a property. I myself have seen that over the years that that pool is shrinking. And again, because of inflation, it's getting more difficult for people to save. Because usually to be able to be a homeowner, you need to have an adequate amount of money to be able to not only purchase the home, but to be able to maintain the home. And whenever people go through pre-qualifications with lenders, they're getting very, very strict with the lending standards and the requirements. So even with someone that just wants to get a median priced home, they cannot afford it because, well, first of all, too, it's very hard to be able to maintain proper employment right now. There's a lot of people that are going through a lot of layoffs. Right now, we're going through a large shift because of artificial intelligence. It's getting rid of a lot of good positions out there. I think right now we're having a lot of people, skilled workers, that are in threat. And so that can actually lower down the amount of qualified buyers out there for properties as well. So right now, it's very, very difficult to be able to fulfill the demand of all the new housing that's being built. And so going forward, we're eventually going to run into a situation we're going to have a larger and larger surplus, and that should depress the properties. I don't know to what extent, but I do know that patience is key. And there's a lot of people right now that if they have the patience and they have the money saved up, eventually you're going to get to a point where you're going to run into a home that's actually a very good deal for you. So it could be this year, it could be next year, it could be 2-3 years from now, but patience is key. Every market's different in the United States. Alabama's market, if you look around, you can find some pretty great deals, but that's not for everybody. So all you have to do is just keep stacking and keep saving and making sure that you continue to sharpen your skills, because if at any time you get laid off, if you have a plan, a backup plan, then you can continue in your progress to be able to eventually buy a property.
Yeah, I think a lot of people aren't even worried about buying a property. They're worried if they're going to have a job next week. And that's a big fear. People aren't going to commit if they don't have confidence that they're going to have employment next week or next year. Plus, on top of that, look at all the AI now coming in and taking all these jobs. Here's another one. Airbnb, reserve now, pay later. So you can reserve an Airbnb now, pay later. They're doing split payments. Basically, buy now, pay later for Airbnb. Split payments, not a good sign. Doing a buy now, pay later plan for an Airbnb, probably not a good sign. Thoughts, Aaron?
When it comes to going out to eat, going on vacations, all that, I'm a firm believer if you can't pay cash, you should not be putting any of this.
Or pay the card off at the end of the month.
Well, okay. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have the money to do this and you're having to finance it and pay it off over, months or years, like you shouldn't be doing this stuff. So that's just a sign of the times that we're so spoiled and we're used to a certain lifestyle, and it's been pretty good over the last decade, I guess. And then now that all this is coming to an end, the party's over, and the bills are going to be collected. Yeah,
Aaron, Enrique.
Yeah, I really am a firm believer in, especially if you're going to be spending some big money with Airbnb, you want to make sure that you can adequately afford it. These are types of fringe expenses. I feel like they're above and beyond your normal day-to-day or month-to-month expenses. If people are actually going and paying for Airbnbs, they have to be able to afford it. So I think that this whole buy now, pay later thing with Airbnb, it's not really a good combination. I think that they're setting up people for failure, to be able to not only mess up their finances that month, but it's going to put their entire financial situation at risk, especially if they do it more than once.
So is this more doom spending? Now people are, look, I'm going to take a vacation. We're going to rent a house. They just cannot stop spending. And companies like this, and the buy now, pay later applications just make it so tempting to spend money.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are people going to dinner and using buy now, pay later. And so people just, you got to show control, in my opinion. You know, I've noticed some of the people lashing out in some of the comments, usually, you know, the same 4 or 5 people. But these to me are the most terrified people now. You know, these are the people now who are really beginning to see that everything we've been talking about for years is coming to fruition. People, the people out there that have been talking about this for years, it's coming to fruition. And you know the same type of people, they're terrified. And so what do? They lash out, they ignore it. Everything's going to be okay. I don't want to talk about it. Those guys are crazy. That's, you know, that's doom and gloom. These people are terrified. And they should be terrified because they've been watching shows like this for years. They've seen the warning signs for years, and they chose to ignore the danger. And now here we are in 2025, one of the worst economies in history. And I'm not blaming this administration. Look what we inherited over just the last 4 years. But this has been going on for decades. We didn't just get here because of the last 4 years or 10 years. We've been printing money for decades. We've been spending money like crazy for decades, and we've been ignoring the debt, the deficits, and the danger for decades. And many people out there have been ignoring it too, and now they're terrified. So what would they do instead to prepare? They would just rather troll, make stupid comments, because we know you're scared. We know you're terrified. And I wish you would take the time to, you know, stop with the stupid comments. You can comment all you want. It doesn't bother me. But I really wish you would take that time and energy and focus on yourselves and prepare. Because I really do worry about you. You control me. You can go to Texas Silver, by the way, Texas Silver, if they want to see anything on your channel, just go to Texas Silver and Enrique Reacts. And you control, you can say whatever you want. But I really wish you would take that time and energy and really prepare for what's coming. And it may already be too late because I think we're getting very, very close to some very, very large events happening. But these are the terrified people. The people who are not terrified, they're awake, they're aware, they have a plan, they've been preparing. Anything you want to comment on that?
I know you get a lot of, you know, this is all doom and gloom and this and that and the other, but I don't see what the big issue with being prepared.
Well, I don't see the issue with telling the truth.
Well, but it's just like, why are you getting all this negativity about being a prepared individual and trying to wake up people that have never heard this before? Well, they may be coming to the channel for the first time.
Right. I mean, when you look at how many people give this channel a thumbs up in the analytics, it's almost 99% positive. So
well, yeah,
it's very,
there's only like,
it's like 1 or 2%
clowns out there.
Yeah. And look, I mean, they have the right to look. I'm happy you're watching. I really am. Thank you for the click. But really, I do worry about you. I really, really do worry about you. And all you have to do is go to the national debt clock and look at that and look at the debt. You don't have to listen to me. You can look at the national debt clock with your own 2 eyes. If that does not worry you, that's what you should be triggered about. That's what you should be worried about. That's what you should be focusing on, because it's not going to just affect you. It's going to affect your kids, your grandkids. It's going to affect the entire country for years to come. And you can sit here and say everything is okay, everything is fine. Layoffs have risen 140%, 140% from a year ago. That's okay. 37, we're blowing past $37 trillion in debt. Companies have announced 800,000 job cuts this year alone. And you'll say the economy's fine because the stock market's up. What do you tell the 800,000 people who already lost their jobs this year? And we're only in August. U.S. employers have cut 62,000 jobs in July compared to 28.8 thousand last July. This is not heading in a good direction. And then look at your purchasing power when you go to the store. Do you really think everything is okay? Look at coffee, poultry, beef. Look at your health insurance. Look at your auto insurance. I'm sorry to be the messenger here, Enrique.
Yeah, I really do think that a lot of people need to wake up. And I know a lot of people personally that they're just completely blind to what's going on outside in today's economy. And they have to realize that anything could happen at one time. And if the things change right now, America is heading down a really, really dark path.
I agree. And to the 4 or 5 people out there that really continue to not believe this, I think you believe it. You're just terrified. How much longer will you defy the laws of the U.S. economy? How much longer will you defy the laws of the U.S. economy? It's right in front of you. You know it. Stop being terrified. Stop being scared and do something about it. Lashing out, trolling, calling people names, it's not going to do anything to prepare you. And for me, it doesn't bother me one bit. And many of you watching this, you have friends, you have people that judge you, ridicule you, and you don't care either because you're prepared. I feel sorry for these people, but at some point, I can't feel sorry for them because I got to take care of myself, my family, my circle. Aaron.
So if you follow the Bible or anything like that, I know we've talked about this before on the channel, but same thing happened to Noah. Said he was a fool, and what is he doing, this and that, and then who was beating on the door trying to get in when the flood came. The thing is, we are at a point in world history that we have never been in before when it comes to the economy, the world economy, the debt levels, everything, where all of us are on a fiat monetary system. So how do these people know what's going to happen? We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, the math is the math. So we know eventually this has to come to an end.
Right.
So be prepared, pay off your bills, get out of debt, put back some silver, put back your water, food, security, all that stuff we talk about, because we don't know. It could be, it could happen tonight. It could happen 2 years from now, 10 years from now. But there's nothing wrong with being prepared.
I'm just a factual person like 99% of you watching this. Well, vegetables up 38.9%, coffee up 25%. Electricity prices are rising twice as fast as inflation. 83% of this country surveyed said that they're experiencing stressflation. We're coming up with terms we never even heard before. People are absolutely terrified. They're living paycheck to paycheck. You could listen to the Dave Ramsey show for 5 minutes and listen to 2 calls, and you'll just roll your eyes how much debt people have in this country between car debt, student loan debt, credit card debt, buy now, pay later debt, housing debt. Just goes on and on and on. And these people are never going to get out of it. And the economy is going to get worse, not better. And this has got to be the worst possible time to be holding so much debt. I mean, coffee is up 25% in the last 3 months. We're just talking facts here, the data, mathematics. It doesn't lie. Enrique.
Yeah, it's people are going to have to start changing their habits, and that's one of the things we opened up the video today with people starting to purchase kids' meals. So that's going to become a reality for more and more people, and they're going to have to start making sacrifices they don't want to. And I know there's still going to be a large sector of the population that's going to continue to doom spend and continue to put things on credit cards and buy now, pay later loans, and maybe even put their parents' retirement at risk, because that's also another thing that's happening right now.
They have literally given the American people so many ways to keep this economy going. Buy now, pay laters, credit cards, HELOCs. They're just trying to put out another type of entity, service, whatever you want to call it, a way for people to spend money that they don't have. But this money all has to be paid back. And so when you now live in a time where air conditioning may be a luxury because you're picking 2 choices. Maybe I got to pay for medication or I got to pay for my air conditioning. Air conditioning now becoming a luxury in the United States of America. Brace for more inflation, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's going to get much, much worse. But when you look at seniors in this country, they are literally now having to make a choice between air conditioning and their medication. And I've just never heard of these type of stories growing up or even 10 years ago. And now every day we're hearing about how people are being squeezed every which way to Sunday. you watch social media. I watch a lot of social media to see what's going on, what people are saying. And there's literally thousands of videos where people are just lashing out or breaking down into tears, having meltdowns because they lost a job. They don't know how they're going to pay their bills. Their car was just repoed. They don't know how they're going to feed their families. They don't know how they're going to save their house. Aaron, where are we at? Is it going to get better, or are we looking at something much, much worse to come?
I know a lot of times on these videos that we make that people keep saying, when is the crash? When we are living through it. We may be in the beginning stages. I think we have not seen the worst of it. I think it's going to get way worse. Just imagine if you go to the grocery store and your credit card doesn't work. You can't access your fiat because or the credit froze. And I think that's what we're going to. There's going to be a freeze up of the credit market, and that's going to shut everything down. So
I would argue that we probably never recovered from the '08 crisis.
Yeah,
we just kept, limping along, throwing more money at it, and here we are. The consequences of debt have officially arrived, in my opinion. This is why the food lines are so long. This is why 18% of the country is food insecure. This is why people are, adults are eating Happy Meals. This is why people have to choose between medication and air conditioning. How long can people afford to pay a $500, $600, $700, $800 electricity bill, an $800 car payment, $18,000 in credit card debt at 30%? Enrique, what do you think?
Well, most people that I know that I have run across they have very, very thin savings. Some people have a lot of their assets tied to their home or possibly the stock market.
Let me ask you this really quick to interject. Apologize. If something happens to the housing market, what is going to happen to people's wealth?
Yeah, that's going to be evaporated. Most people, quick, because that's where the majority of people's equity and wealth comes from their primary residence.
And we're always told that real estate only goes up, never goes down. But it wasn't too long ago. I remember '08 very, very vividly. Yeah. Does real estate always go up?
I mean, historically, generally, yes, but there are times when it pulls back and gets cut in half. I really thought there was going to be a crash, but I don't know. I think it has to happen. I just don't know why it hasn't.
And they've thrown a lot of money to keep it pumped up.
Yeah.
And how many people right now have defaulted on their mortgages who literally should be foreclosed on? Or how many real pre-foreclosures are going on out there, but the bank's really not doing anything. They're kind of extending and pretending. They don't want to panic people. They don't want to foreclose on these homes at the moment, and we know that people are way behind. We look at FHA loans. Gosh, what is it? Over 10%? I can't remember off the top of my head. Comment down below. Was it over 10% of FHA loans? Maybe it's a little bit less than that. Are 60, 90 days delinquent. That's a lot of properties. And you look at the auto delinquencies, nearly 3 million cars were repoed last year. I mean, this is not normal for a booming economy. So I'm really confused here. Either this is a booming economy, but millions of people are getting their cars repossessed. Millions of people can't pay their utility bills. Millions of people have to eat Happy Meals. I mean, this is really getting strange. Enrique.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's going to get worse. And when it comes to people being delinquent, there's a lot of people that were actually, they were qualified by lenders to be able to purchase property, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can hold on to it long term. I've met people personally, clients of mine, that within 6 months to a year, they're struggling to keep their home. Yeah. So just because the lender says that you can purchase a property for $450,000 doesn't mean that you should go buy a property worth $450,000, because, like I said again, you could get set up for failure within a year or two. You may have a lot of issues going forward, and so you're going to have to find a way out, whether it be getting roommates, whether it be house hacking, whatever it is, because if not, you can run a situation where you're one of those statistics.
Taxes go up, insurance goes up. Oh, $5,000 repair on the transmission on the car. I mean, people are cutting it so thin. They're on a razor's edge. One paycheck goes missing, people in big trouble. 2 ghosts missing, you're in real big trouble. Because we have, 80% of this country living paycheck to paycheck. Some people can't even make it to the paycheck, so they got to go do a payday loan. And that's even a bigger disaster. So I don't know. I'm praying for this country. I don't know. I think that we're in really, really big trouble. Said this a million times. All you have to do is look at the debt. And if you're not betting against the debt, if you're not preparing to deal with this debt or your own debt, you're going to be in very, very big trouble. Anything left?
So I think the last administration, and I'm not trying to get political, but everything was kind of papered over. They threw a bunch of money at it, put a bunch of Band-Aids on it. And then now I think with this new administration, stuff is coming to light. But also I think they don't want to come out and tell us how bad it is, because then it's going to panic. So I think they're going to keep going until it finally breaks to where they're forced to have to admit that how bad it really is. Yeah. And my thing is, every fiat system in history has failed. Yeah. And I don't care that we're the United States. I don't care that we have the world reserve currency. The dollar eventually will go down.
It's a great point. Somebody said, "Oh, now I'm saying don't hold dollars." I think in the comments. And yesterday I was on your show.
Yeah.
I think you got to hold some dollars. You got to hold real assets, but you also have to hold some dollars at this point too. I get it; it's depreciating, but you still got to hold some dollars. Will we be holding them 10 years from now? I don't know. We're looking at countries dumping U.S. treasuries at an alarming rate. The BRICS ain't going away. Gold's not going away. There's going to be a new world coming very, very soon. And I don't think America is going to be running it. I really don't. I think we've upset so many nations. I think we've weaponized the U.S. dollar. We've started a lot of wars. We've sanctioned the world. We have 9,000 sanctions across the globe right now. And the world is trying to detach from America. We'll see how it plays out. I think I'm going to leave it there tonight. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, watching the show. It's been just a great time spending it out here in Alabama with these two guys right here. We got a lot of stuff done on Monday and Tuesday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we go at it again. But I think we can slow it down a little bit. But it's been an amazing time. The weather's been good. I think we're going to get some rain tomorrow. But stay tuned. We'll be throwing up some more videos. You can go to Texas Silver, check out what's happening out here. You can go to Enrique Reacts, see what's going on, get their perspective of things. And as always, look forward to speaking to each and every one of you very, very soon. God bless. Take care. Be safe.